Welcome back, everyone, to the Six Pennies podcast. Today, I have myself, Mock, and Timmy. We have all six pennies today, but we actually have a special treat for you guys. We're doubling that up. We have 3 additional guest speakers today.
Oh.
And we're doing like a huge megapod. We're doing a podcast about fatherhood, being a husband, being a dad. And so we have Alex, Titus, and Hal here on the line as well. So I'll go around the room and they can introduce themselves and let us know what they do, describe like how many kids they have, what type of kids they have, and then we can get started. So first, Hal Lu.
Hi, I'm Hal. I'm currently living in Dallas, Texas. I work as a fellow at University of Texas at UT Southwestern, and I have 2 children, Annabelle and Evie, both girls, both little monsters.
Nice. Okay, next we have Titus Lamb.
Hey guys, I'm Titus. I work in tech, and I've got 2 little boys. One is 2 years old. His name's Ezra, and we have a 2-month-old. His name's Jaden.
And then now Alex.
Hey, this is Alex. I work in technology consulting services. Been a dad for 16 months now,
Nice.
so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so a lot of you who don't know, one of our members here at Six Pennies is also a new father, Jonathan Mock. Do you want to describe Levi and like how that's been going so far?
Yeah, sure. Levi's he was created almost 9 months ago now. He's been in this world almost 9 months. And yeah, we can get into a little bit more later. He's, I guess, a little different backstory. But yeah, he's just a growing boy, really big. He's the reason why my back hurts in the morning now.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
But yeah, he's a joy. And just a quick shout out to Lex for letting us his child's nursery for us to do this podcast with.
Yeah. A lot of you who can't see this on the screen, but we're using Lex's son's room, Noah, as our studio for today. And so thank you for that. The soundproof walls and everything are amazing. So we have 4 dads on the pod. We have a 5th. We have Timmy here. He's actually going to be a dad in like 3 weeks. And so this podcast is very applicable to him. And Timmy, how are you feeling over there in LA?
I'm terrified. I don't know what I'm going to do at all. Hey, do people listening to the podcast know what any of us do? Me, Albie, and Mock?
We do Six Pennies podcast full time.
That's true. Okay. That's all we need. Yeah, we have a baby boy coming our way. He's due in about 3 weeks, and I am not ready for it. So hope I can get some knowledge today.
Yeah. So that's the main point of this podcast is to get Timmy really scared, really prepared, and just the next 3 weeks of waiting and anticipating for this new baby boy is going to be awesome. And so the first thing I want to talk about is just how you guys felt individually in that exact moment when you found out, you are actually a dad. So we're going to start with Alex.
Oh man. So I guess, there's 2 parts to that answer. One is finding out that you're going to be expecting, and then the other part is when the baby actually comes. So I guess I'll talk a little bit more about when the baby actually was born. For me, when Noah was born, there's just a lot of anticipation, just a lot of emotion, especially when the baby starts crying, and you think that the baby's going to look gorgeous, but the baby really looks like a little shrunken alien that's slightly blue. That all the doctors and nurses and stuff prepare you. They tell you don't be scared if your baby's blue. But they come out and they start crying, and then you start crying with them too. So at least for me, I sweat a little bit from my eyes, to be honest.
That's awesome. How did you feel when Evie was born and then subsequently Annabelle?
Oh man, this was about 2.5 years ago. First of all, the caveat here is both Annabelle and Evie were accidents. So I remember when I came home the first time, and Holly showed me a pregnancy test that was positive. I was really freaked out. I had just worked like a 30-hour shift, and I came home, and she showed it to me, and I had no words. Other than I blamed it on her because she lied to me. She told me it was a safe day. When actually it was a funny thing too, because when Evie was born, I had just gotten home from a 30-hour shift, gone to sleep for about 5 minutes, and then Holly woke me up and told me her water broke, and I was like, man, any day but today, you know.
Well played.
I had just worked so much, so we went to the hospital. Everything was a blur. I'd been up for like a total after that was like up for like 72 hours, and but it was I mean, there's just a lot of adrenaline that pushes you through, and then when you see your baby for the first time, I mean, they're ugly, but they're beautiful, you know, to you. And so I think that the second time was kind of like whatever. I already know what's gonna happen. It was fine.
But you love Annabelle equally, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, to piggyback off that story, so we're on a group text message together, and I just remember that night when Hal found out he had to go to the hospital for Evie's birth, and Hal was like really emotional on the text. Like, he probably told us he loved us like 10 different times, and like, I'm so glad you guys are here, and we're like, we're not even there. We're just on a group text. But yeah, that was a really funny moment. Titus, you also have two yourself. You have two boys. How did you feel when Ezra and Jaden were born?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, I think something that was kind of different for me was for both of the births, they came out two different ways. So for our first, came through C-section. It wasn't necessarily planned that way, but that's what we were led to. And then for Jaden, he came naturally. And so for each, they were just as equally shocking, which was crazy. I think the other two guys, Alex and Hal, they've already kind of mentioned how shocking it was. It was exactly that way for me. Both times the babies came out. It's funny because with Jenny, you know, her maternal instincts kicked in like almost immediately. Got like this slimy blue, you know, little raisin that pops out, and you know, she's immediately hugging and, you know, kissing and, you know, telling the baby she loves him. And for me, I just kind of stood there and I was like, what just happened? So it's pretty crazy, but definitely an amazing experience once they're out.
That's awesome, yeah. And then our very own Mock, you have kind of a different backstory.
Yeah, so Levi was adopted, and we were going through the adoption process, and I feel like we were just getting started with it. We had a bunch of, you know, mini vacations planned for over the next few months after we had become what they call paper pregnant, which means that, you know, we could be matched at any time, but normally, you know, we get matched with birth mom in the third trimester, and we get to spend that last trimester getting to know her and stuff. And but for us, it was like a normal day at home. I was watching the Astros game. I was reading like the rap yearbook, and I was about to head out to the gym actually, and then I got a phone call from our caseworker, and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" I mean, in my mind, I was like, "Okay, this is pretty quick. Like, we got matched, and you know, I'm gonna have maybe baby boy or baby girl in like 3 or 4 months." So I said, "Hey," and then only thing she said to me was like, "Are you ready to come pick up your son?" After that, we were pretty speechless, and that night was a blur. We went to Walmart and bought everything. We didn't have anything at that point, so we went to Walmart and pretty much bought the whole store. And it was really surreal because I still had to go to work the next day and wait for the phone call to go meet our son like after work. So
Wow.
So yeah, it's a little different. Wasn't able to go to the hospital and be there for that, but I don't know. I'm judging from you guys, but that might have been a good thing for me. I don't know if I want to see him blue.
Yeah. Timmy, how are you feeling so far?
I'm fine.
You're not scared yet, right?
Not at all.
Okay.
I don't know what to say.
Okay, so yeah, so your kids, they all have like, really cool names, very unique, and I'm sure very meaningful for each of you guys. So I want to just quickly go through why you guys chose the names, and like, was it a joint decision? Did you guys just decide it that day? Was there a lot of preparation leading up to it? And so I'll go with Mock first.
Yeah. So we actually luckily had 3 or 4 names that we were kind of juggling while we were going through the process. One was, so you always have the ones you kind of see like on the street or just happenstance. One of those for us was Shiloh. We saw it on a street sign here in Dallas.
Dallas.
near Albie's place. So it's gonna be either Shiloh or Levi, and we ended up with Levi.
Good choice.
Basically based off the tribe of Levi in the Bible. So we wanted him to be like kind of set aside for God's purposes, kind of a royal priesthood. That's his Bible verse. But we gave our parents the option to come up with his Chinese name. So they had like 6 hours after we called them and told them everything to kind of regroup and come up with a Chinese name. So they did, and came up with the name Lai Shun. That's how you say it in English. Lai hyphen Shun. It's really funny. Is that's one of the really similar to one of the names that I wanted for his first name, LaShawn. But that got vetoed by the wife. But when we were in the courthouse finalizing the adoption, they called him Levi LaShawn Mock anyway. So,
awesome.
So
you still won, yeah. Lex, what about Noah? How did you come to Noah?
So for us, we're looking for a name, kind of same way that Mock came up with Levi. We wanted something that had some meaning, hopefully something that, would represent who we wanted him to live up to be. And so we chose Noah because, we taking a look at the story in the Bible with Noah, how he was able to remain faithful to God even though society was mocking him and basically the world was against him. And I think it's something that he's going to probably grow up in the world as things get kind of crazier, and our hope for him is that he would be able to stand fast in the Lord. And so we hope that that's who he'll grow up to be, and hopefully he won't make some of the same mistakes as Noah did, like sleeping naked, drunk.
Just once.
But we're hoping for the best.
Nice.
The best parts of Noah.
So for us, it's pretty similar thought process and thinking of our name, and we went with Ezra and Jaden, and they both come from the Bible. Ezra means God helps, and Jaden means God is heard. And so for us, Jenny and I went through a rough patch in our life that just kind of surrounded a pretty major injury that I had, and what was amazing during that time was we had Ezra, and that was a sign for us that God really helped us through that time and brought a lot of joy into our life through our son. And so we went with that, and then 2 years later Jaden pops out, and for us it was kind of a sign that God had heard, and he had kind of walked through those 2 years and given us even more joy with a second baby boy. So we liked those 2 names, and it's funny because Ezra seemed a bit more unique, and Jaden actually is like the 20th most common boy's name in the U.S. But I think we liked it, and it doesn't really matter, I guess, how common the name is. It's just what matters the most is if the parents love it.
Yeah, afterwards, after we named Noah, we found out it was like top 1 or 2 names according to Social Security. So yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah, same thing with Levi. We thought it was really unique, and then it's like top 20 as well.
Yeah, so while you guys were talking about your names, Hal was listening, and he was like, "Man, so deep."
Yeah,
So
this is really deep.
so for Evie and Annabelle, it wasn't as deep, or what kind of process did you have?
I kind of wish I didn't go last here. None of my reasons are as spiritual as the other guys. So for Evie, it's not because we were both Lost fans.
Kate.
Her full name is Evangeline, but it was because we actually thought through this one a little bit. Initially, when Evie came as a huge surprise to us, to me it wasn't such good news. It was tough to be in residency and to be expecting at the same time. But Evangeline actually means good news. And so that was kind of where it came from, that we realized that, this was a huge blessing that God had bestowed upon us. So that's where that came from. And we really like the nickname Evie, so we were trying to match up with long names that matched up with Evie.
Oh, nice.
So that's that. Annabelle is going to be a little embarrassing. Literally, we did not even think of her name until her water broke. And while Holly was in labor, we went through names. And literally, we could not get past A's because it was just taking way too long. So we went with Annabelle.
I can't wait till Annabelle listens to this podcast. That's awesome.
At least it's a real name, not like Aardvark or something else, like
true.
double A or something.
It's true.
Timmy, have you and Sharon decided on a name, or are you guys waiting till the day of?
No, we haven't decided on a name. We also aren't waiting. We just can't think of one, and we go online like every week or so and just like look at different sites that have lists of names, and we just hate all of them. There's I don't know why boy names seem to be really difficult, but you guys, we've looked and we always see all the names you guys just listed on like the top 10 of all the charts. So it's kind of funny that you guys didn't know that supposedly, but I don't know. I don't think we're going to be as deep, definitely. So it'll probably be more in houseboat. But it's just difficult just because you get to know and meet some people of your life and suck, and you don't want them to have the same name. So that's like we haven't decided.
Yeah.
So is it taboo to name your kid the same name as one of your friends' kids?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Especially, maybe
clinically
if it's like more distant, like you don't know them that well, or you're just
2 degrees. 2 degrees.
haven't been in touch with them. Yeah, if they're more acquaintances or something.
Yeah, obviously, so I'm not a dad. That's why I'm facilitating this podcast. But I've noticed that people who just found out they're expecting or found out the gender, they already like release their name to the public,
That's why,
so that no one else can claim that name. So it's pretty funny, like baby naming politics. Timmy, so I'm gonna start with you on this next question. What do you think is gonna be like the hardest adjustment, or what are you most scared of after your baby is here and you have to help out Sharon every day and every night?
Yeah, I assume the hardest thing is sleeping and not sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing I'm most scared of is just not knowing how to help the baby survive, how to take care of I don't know how to handle a child at all. And like I don't know about the rest of the guys there. Like, you read little things or books or we went to like an infant care class for like a couple hours, but it still doesn't feel like I know anything at all. Did you guys feel like prepared in any way? And I don't know.
I mean, you already sound more prepared.
Is there anything that helped you?
I think you'll be good. I think you'll be fine.
Oh, all right.
Infant preparedness class? That's too much, man.
Oh, is that too much prep?
That's way too much prep.
Off the cuff, man. Off the cuff. I wanted to ask you that because I want to ask the rest of the guys here, what has been like the most beneficial or the best purchase or gift that they've bought or received that has really helped with raising their respective children, whether it's giving them more sleep or making things more convenient. So I'm gonna start with Hal. Like, what's the best thing you have at the house now that makes life a little easier for you?
Oh man, nothing we bought helped Evie sleep better. Nothing we tried helped Evie eat better. I would say the more expensive something is, the more useless it is. And all the stuff you buy for babies, it's all a scam. Everything's a scam. That's how I feel. The best gift I gave. The best gift is something I gave to myself. Because I moved back to Dallas, so that
Wow.
our parents are here.
Nice.
And the best thing in my home are the grandparents. When they're around, I get so much more freedom, and they do a lot.
Yeah, it's always good to have family close. That's what I've been told. Titus, what's the best thing that you have that have made life easier for you or Jenny?
You know, I think I definitely skip out on the classes. You know, I think I think with fatherhood, it's just you learn on the fly, and you probably learn the most when you're in the hospital right after the birth. And I think one of my best experiences was with the postnatal nurses, and they just teach you everything. So it really is the best way to learn is just once it occurs, because holding a piece of plastic doll just really isn't going to do much. As far as kind of a best purchase, I probably have two. I really like this book, and I don't really read much, and I definitely didn't read any baby books other than this one. The book's called Be Prepared. It's a handbook for fathers, and so back in the day there used to be a survival in the wilderness book called Worst Case Scenarios, and so this book is kind of like that for dads. Very little text, a lot of graphics and images and diagrams, and it really helps you figure it out. If anything, it's fun bathroom reading. And then the second gift, which, like how I also just kind of bought it for myself, was a baby hiker. And this isn't one of those, this is not to be confused with a baby carrier. This is a hardcore baby hiker.
Jeez.
I mean, these things are, if you go to an outdoor store like REI, there's a rack that's dedicated to baby and toddler hikers. And these things are heavy duty. I mean, they're like $300 plus.
Cool.
But I think that that was just something that was great because I think a lot of people go into parenthood thinking that they have to give a lot of things up. For me and Jenny, this was kind of something that we could continue doing from pre-parenthood and bring it to post-parenthood too. Just kind of a love for hiking. So we love that, and we definitely use it a lot. And maybe it's because we're hippies from Austin and such, but we definitely love that.
So for me, I think I'm going to have to disagree with how I think that there are some things that
Ooh,
make your life
disagreement.
so much better. The one thing that I can think of for us was it's this contraption called the Baby Brezza.
Oh yeah, that's same as mine.
Yeah. And so the Baby Brezza is basically, if you think of a Keurig machine where you can put your K-cups in and then you press a button and then your coffee comes out. This is the same thing except for milk, for the formula, so that you don't have to mix it in water and then put it into a microwave and then check to make sure that it's the right temperature. Man, this Baby Brezza, I mean, when you're up at 3 a.m. and all you have to do is press a button and then you can stick that bottle into your baby's mouth and they just drink it, and it saves you so much headache. And I think that's worth the $200 that I spent on that thing.
Oh, thanks. I didn't even know how much it was, but that's my answer as well. Lex and Karen, his wife Karen, got it for us as a gift when Levi came.
It's expensive.
And yeah, time to Craigslist it after this. But yeah, it definitely saves a lot of time, and especially with Levi being adopted, like we can't breastfeed him, so all he does is formula. And with this machine, like it spoiled me. Like I didn't know how to mix formula until like a couple months ago, like when we had to like bring him out. But yeah, when he's at home, it's just a press of a button and he's good to go.
All right, cool. That was fun. So that's the end of part 1 of our Dad Mega Podcast. Please follow us on Twitter, Six Pennies Pod. Throw us a like on Facebook at Six Pennies Podcast and subscribe to us on YouTube. Thanks, guys. Come back next week for part 2.